Okay, you there, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was I researched like the Chinese way of teaching the martial arts, you know,
Mhm.
and it's on Wikipedia and it's on my website too. It's
Yeah.
talking about like the traditional way of sharing the martial arts, and it's similar to like how like Buddhist monks would do it too, you know,
Yeah.
and it's it's supposed to be like a very formal thing. Like you also see it in some of the movies, like in those Chinese martial arts movies, where
Yeah.
the people almost had to like beg for the master to accept them, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, the way it's supposed to go is the master would typically only teach amongst his own blood, but
Yeah.
if he did teach somebody else, it's supposed to be like a serious thing, like they're adopting a child or something, you
Yeah.
know. So like once the master decides that, hey, you know, I'll accept you as a disciple, the disciple is supposed to like serve him tea, like in a tea ceremony type thing.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of that, by the way, I think one of my friend, he went to my channel and he noticed the word Todai King. So he looked up the word Todai in Wikipedia. He said, you know what? I think you're a house Negro, man, because you're serving seafood for tea or something. You're not supposed to be like that, you
Well,
know. But
it's
I think I noticed on Wikipedia too, like they're serving the masters and all. That's how it's supposed to go. But
yes,
I'm gonna let you continue on that.
yes. So like that's how like that's what a todai, that's what a disciple is. It's not just like a regular student. Like a
Yeah.
disciple is somebody who's like basically he serves the master pretty much, you know, and
True.
it's like like into like adopted child. So like if you have children, you can't have too many. Like it's you just can't. Like you don't have the resources, you don't have the time, you don't got the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And I mean, even if you had the money, I mean, if you have so many damn kids, like, how are you gonna educate them properly? I mean,
yeah,
you really can't.
yeah. I mean, you need money and you need time, and so that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be more like very serious and formal, and you got to basically be very selective. So meaning, it's almost like also similar to say you're running a business, right? And
Mhm.
you need help, like you need a manager, you need to hire a manager,
Yeah.
but say the business is not that, like it's only one business, so say you only got room for one manager or like two or three or four, but you can't hire like 30 managers. So
Yeah.
if you're just gonna hire one manager, you gotta be like very selective, and then you gotta train the person properly, so then they do the job right.
Yeah.
So like even my own kids, man, like people criticize us saying that we got so many, and we do have a lot compared to like the average family, but
Mhm.
we got five, and that's already like pretty hard to handle. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna have like you can have a lot of students, you can even have like 10, 20, 30, or even more students, but disciples you can't have that many because it's like almost like having your own kids. It's not just a regular student basically, you know. It's got to
Yeah.
be like that special connection that is beyond like just a regular student teacher relationship. Like it's like almost an extension of the relationship that a father might have with a son or a daughter, like by blood. Like a
Yeah.
master disciple relationship is almost an extension to that, where you almost treat the master as if as if he's your father
He's your
by
father,
blood.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as if he's your father by blood, and then you submit to his authority, and you basically surrender to his authority, and you're not like you're not rebelling against him, because if you rebel against
Yeah.
him, then you're not gonna be able to learn, because he can't teach you if you're rebelling against him.
Mhm.
So I mean, even though people have a hard time understanding that type of relationship because it almost doesn't exist here in America, like
Yeah.
there is a version of like a little glimpse of the understanding through your work
Yeah.
environment, because you
Mhm.
can't really get hired into any company without like accepting some type of authority. You know?
Yeah, because if you don't, you're not gonna work here. And I even had like some friends like he wanted a job at a store, and he was asking some information about the store. And the guy who works at the store, give him some information, and he start asking like some questions like as if he wanted to argue with the person who's trying to give him information. So this guy, he clearly cannot work for this company because like if you try to like contradict everything the company stands for, like I don't think this relationship can work. And I think it's the same thing with the martial arts. You can't just go to a master and then like everything the master is trying to show you, you're trying to like argue with them and trying to like debate with them. That relationship, you're not gonna learn anything from it because you think you already know it all. You think you know the better way. If you know the better way, then what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what it is. I mean, if you're arguing with the master, then you're pretty much not accepting him as the master, and
Yeah.
you want to go on your own, or you might have to seek somebody else who you do respect as a master. So
Yeah.
um, so I learned, I learned basically, it was like a failed attempt. It was like basically, all right, I'm reading this and how it's supposed to be, and then I tried to implement it in America, and it just doesn't work because America, like, their mind frames are not, they're not raised to think that way. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, think about the word master. I mean, it's like you're of the especially the blacks, they'll associate that with like slavery,
Mhm.
and then and it's just something that they don't really understand that mentality. It just does they just don't. um,
Yeah.
even the basic family relationship has broken down because there's a lot of broken families where the father's not even around. So
Yeah. I think especially the black families too. The families are like pretty much broken up. We got single mothers like educating kids.
yeah.
You know, and because they don't have like a man like they don't have like a male role model. That's gonna be really hard for them to accomplish a lot in life.
And that's what I mean is that, like, if you don't have the framework to understand it by, then it's going to make it even harder to accept a martial arts master because you don't even have any understanding of the relationship and how it's supposed to be. Because
Yeah.
you don't have it at home, you clearly don't have it in school, so where else are you going to learn it? So when you go to martial arts
Exactly.
school, they can't really you can't really understand that relationship,
Mhm.
because you don't the relationship that they understand is like a relationship of business where it's like, all right, I pay you to deliver a service, and I'm in control of you, right? So they don't understand this this master disciple relationship, and it's almost like a fantasy where they only get a glimpse of the understanding when they watch like some of these old school martial art movies. They only get like a glimpse of it, but to actually make it happen in real time in America, it's a lot harder than you would think. So understanding that, and then also understanding that even myself as a teacher, I need time to grow, and through these experiences, it's teaching me, and it's taking time to develop into a real master, because I'm still like pretty young, and I'm not like at my full potential and my growth as far as like being a better teacher is concerned. Like I need more time. Like it's training in the martial arts is one thing. Expressing it as an artist is one thing, but like serving, like being somebody's master is a whole other thing that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of experience, and another thing is I don't even know if I have the time for it, or even the motivation, because I got like a full-time job. I mean, like, I'm trying to make money to make a living. I can't. My only thing is not just being a master. I don't have that luxury. So like it's almost like I can't even do it. It's almost like, it's almost like I'm in a position where I could only like give you some guidance, but I can't be your master because I just don't have the time for it.
Sure.
Because like imagine,
Well, yeah, I think it's difficult. It's difficult teaching the martial arts too, because like you got one understanding and the other one's like, because they've been watching so many nonsense like Power Rangers and Jackie Chan Adventures and what else? Ninja Turtles. And if you tell them about the real way, I mean, they're not going to understand it because they've been like too many times,
Yeah, I mean another thing too is like I'm focused on the students that I teach face to face, like those are the people I'm focused on. So it's almost like focusing on my own children, not like somebody else's, or it's like they deserve like the utmost attention because they're right in front of me, and then they're paying for my time. And if I'm focused on them, I can't divert too much attention online. So then that's another aspect that makes it so then like where you just run out of time. It's like right now you just finished working, right?
See what?
Right, I said right now you just finished working, right?
Yeah.
So then imagine you're working full-time one job, but then another job saying, oh, I want you to work full-time for our company too. But you're already working full-time somewhere else,
Yeah.
So it's the only way that it can really work where you're teaching more than like just a few people is they almost have to like train together, so then they help each other excel while you work on like finding another person to add onto the team, So
Yeah, so it's like in the business model, you're pretty much like the CEO, and to find out the managers, like fit to actually teach the so far like the lower level. That's gonna be hard to do too.
But one thing I also realized is that finding other managers to help you, it has a lot more to do with humbleness opposed to skill, you know, and
Oh, okay.
skill or fitness. Like skill or fitness to me is not that important when it comes to humbleness. So basically, if whoever I direct as, oh, you know, you are one of my managers, but then they rebel against me, that's like a huge red flag. It's like, you know, if you don't even want to listen to me, then what type of foundation
Yeah.
is that building for the school, the family, or even the company?
Yeah,
Do you know
good
what I'm
point.
saying? Like you're the CEO and then your top manager doesn't want to follow your directions. Like
Exactly.
like
That's
like what kind of company will that be? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it can't work because you got both are going in different directions. You understand? So it's a utmost importance that the managers follow the directives of the CEO. If they don't follow the directives of the CEO, then they can't be managers.
yeah.
You know, so in when you're building a company or you're building a martial arts school or even in the military, like following directions is extremely important. Now, if you're just
Yeah.
talking about being an individual artist, you're just representing yourself, like this is your own thing,
Mhm.
then that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about like building a company, you need to follow the directions of the leader. If you don't
Yeah.
follow the directions of the leader, then there's no way that it will work. You know?
Very true.
So, um, you know, I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. Obviously, I studied his teachings a lot, and there's a lot of truth to the things that he's saying, but not all of it really applies to my situation because my situation is different,
Yeah,
you know?
because your life and his life are different. I mean, of course, he was a martial arts teacher, but eventually he had to give up the teaching martial arts because, like, I mean, he created Jeet Kune Do and he didn't want it to be a style because if you want it to be a style, it will be just like a school where, like, you know, people would follow him. But I mean, it's really hard teaching no style to you know disciples when you're building a school because your school is basically like a style.
Yeah.
You know.